recipe, we need a good drink of beer. And we need to go way back. Ah, the past. A time of unfiltered cigarettes, drinking at 10 a.m. And probably the birthplace of meatloaf. And that's what we're gonna make today. A good old-fashioned meatloaf.
Okay, let's make some bacon bits. Easiest way to make bacon bits is essentially copy what I'm doing right here. Just keep the bacon whole when it comes out of the package, and then just make some little cuts along the pre-made slices, and boom, you'll have some bacon bits. Okay, the next step, as you probably all well know, is to fry up the bacon. Just fry it till it's nice and crispy. Okay, let's work on the meatloaf itself. In a mixing bowl, I added 3 pounds of 80/20 ground chuck. And like I've always said, make sure you get yourself some freshly ground hamburger. Don't get frozen hamburger, and don't, for God's sakes, get that tube crap that was ground 3 months ago. Get yourself some fresh ground. They come in the styrofoam packages or wrapped up in butcher paper. Then I added 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, about a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of white pepper. And don't worry too much about over seasoning this, because you got a lot of burger that a lot of ingredients can hide in. Then about a tablespoon of paprika, because everything is better with paprika. Then you want to grab yourself 1 large egg, just as a binding agent, just to hold all that wonderfulness together. Then you want to make sure and grab some Dijon mustard, about a tablespoon, maybe tablespoon and a half. Okay, and then one last ingredient. You want to grab your pepper grinder and put in a generous amount of pepper. You don't really want to add too much salt, because the salt's going to come from another source. So if you do want to add salt, add very, very little, maybe a teaspoon, but you can go heavy on the pepper. And it looks like I went ahead and added that little teaspoon of salt. Just go easy on the salt, because your salt's going to come from another great big source. And then just mix it around for a couple of minutes and blend everything together. Okay, and next thing is get you out your trusty handy-dandy meatloaf pan. And if you do not own one of these, I highly recommend it. It's shaped like a regular bread loaf pan, but there's 2 pans. You can kind of see the one with the holes in it. That's to allow the meat juices to drip out and be collected in the bottom pan. So when you pull your meatloaf out, it's not sitting in a pile of grease and slime and grit and all this other crap. It really comes in handy. They cost a total of about $10, so, don't be cheap, don't be a bum. And then just place it in your meatloaf pan and pop it into the 300-degree oven for about 90 minutes to 2 hours, or until it's 165 internal. All right, in a pot, let's get on with the gravy. Crack 2 jars of Heinz's gravy, and yes, I know I'm not making the gravy myself, but making gravy out of hamburger is not the greatest thing in the world, so fucking sue me, and if you don't like it, then make your own goddamn cooking show. Okay, now it's time to drain the bacon. And just put it in there, put it in a colander, and you want to do this over a bowl. Now, why in the hell am I doing this over a bowl? 2 reasons. A, you can use the bacon grease in later recipes, or hell, throw it in the gravy you've got going. But you don't want to put meat drippings down the drain. Why? Because they congeal when they're cool. Okay? And there have been people whose pipes have literally burst because of a blockage from congealed meat fat. See, all that liquid in the bowl is going to turn hard and you really don't want that clogging up your pipes. So, make sure you put it in a bowl and just wait for it to become a solid, and dig it out, and just dump it in the trash. And then just add the bacon, stir that around, and leave that to simmer for a while. And, hell, in the meantime, go have a tall, frosty beverage. Okay, let's get a side dish going. Put some steak fries in a deep fryer for about, 3 to 4 minutes. And we're going to serve these with our good old-fashioned meatloaf. All right, and while we're waiting for everything to come together, why don't we take a look back at a few things from the past that, well, just might be due for a comeback. Cocaine in Coca-Cola for when you need that extra pick-me-up in the morning. The horse and cart. The only reason I really want this one brought back is, well, the Amish are associated for it, and, well, let's face it, the Amish suck. Switchboard operators, because there was nothing better than every time you wanted to make a call than having to talk to some crotchety old bitch. Lead-based paint, because how the fuck else you gonna see pink Christina Aguilera monsters? Crystal Pepsi. I mean, they brought back Surge, why the fuck not Crystal Pepsi? Betamax tapes. Just for the fuck of it. And mummification. Why? Because when the aliens come in the year 5 billion, don't you want your ass on display in a museum? Okie dokie. Now that we learned all that, it's time to plate this meal up. You want to take a generous amount of those steak fries you made and put them on the plate. Then grab 2 slices of that delicious cooked meatloaf and place them one on the other. And if they break up, it's no big deal. Then, remember that bacon gravy we made? Well, it's time to bust that out. You want to grab that, grab yourself a ladle, and you want to spread, a generous amount on top. Just like so. Don't be stingy with the gravy or the bacon. And if your meatloaf is a little cool after you let it rest, don't worry, the gravy will heat it right back up. And that's it. Old Fashioned Meatloaf.
And that's how you bring a classic into the modern world. The next time you want to impress your friends, family, with that hot little number you got coming over, try this recipe out.